Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another Turbo Tyler video. This is a video I've been waiting so long to make. Today, we're finally going to be installing this Maxton kit. Alright guys, so here we've got these 3 Maxton pieces which are going on my car today. So I went for the front splitter. This will end up going onto the front of the car. So if you just come over here, it'll sit something like this on the front of the car, more like that actually. Just make the front a little bit sportier, a little bit more lower to the ground. And mainly the splitter I bought was to complement the other 2 pieces. So right here, we've got the RS style diffuser. And if you follow me around to the back, this piece goes onto the bottom of the rear bumper, just attaches with these 3 studs right there. And that is gonna sit something like this onto the back of the car. And then finally, the piece of resistance is the RS style spoiler. So this is the main piece I really wanted. And this was the most expensive piece, but definitely worth it. This is going to completely transform the way the car looks, especially because right now my current spoiler is very, very lacquer peeled. And if you guys saw my video that I've done previously on painting this car, you'll see I didn't paint the spoiler, and that's because this was always going to go onto the car. This was always going to happen, so it's a bit hard to show what this is going to look like, but something like that. So this is the piece I'm most excited for. So this comes unpainted from Maxton. So I had to get this painted as well. Been waiting a long time to put this on the car. This is filmed in February and I ordered this stuff all the way back in November. So I've been waiting a long time. Supplied through Harry's Euro. So if you guys want to get your Maxton kits, make sure to contact them. The link will be in the description below. So what I want to start off with first is that RS spoiler. That's the one I'm most worried about. I did a little bit of prep last night, looking over what I need to do to get that spoiler off. So I'll go ahead and get started with that one now. So I did have a quick look at this last night. I wanted to be well informed on what I need to do for this spoiler install because there are no instructions. But what you want to go ahead and do is if you just remove this piece of interior plastic, you'll see that exposes the nuts and wires for this. So right here are the lights for the rear brake light, and the rear brake light's just up there, 2 T25s to take that out. This is your hose for your rear washer, and then there's 5 nuts, 5 bolts which hold on the spoiler. So you have one which will be there, one there, one in there, one there, and then another one just on this side as well. So that's what holds that on. And then the only other things which hold it on, like I said, are the 2 T25s for that brake light. And then if you come round to the side here, there's a metal clip which holds the spoiler on through there. And if we go around to the other side, you'll see I left that one in for demonstration purposes. Just there, that little clip that we need to remove as well. But it's going to be a super quick job, so we'll get the tools out and get started on that now. Alright guys, so I think we're about ready now to take this spoiler off. So I'll just see if we can close the boot here and just wiggle it off the car. Okay, so it just needed a little bit more of a pull and it just kind of clipped in at the middle. And now it's off the car. We've just got to pull out the lines for the plugs and the spoiler now. And that should be us now, free from the car. So there's a Mark II Focus ST spoiler removed. So now all that's left to do before we install this new spoiler is to clean up all the debris that was under the old one, and then we'll go ahead and try test fit the new one, just make sure the holes are going to line up, stuff like that. And then we also need to transfer over that brake light and the washer fluid jet. So with the rear spoiler, this is the situation we have. this is the wire which connects the rear brake light on this side to the rest of the wiring harness on this side. And then here, this is how the Maxton spoiler comes. This is your rear brake light recess, and this is the hole the wire is supposed to go through, which you can see is too small. And if we come to this side where it's supposed to come out, there's not a hole at all. So what I've got to do is get a drill bit, and I'm going to drill through here so I make a hole on the other side so I know where I need to come out, and then I need to enlarge this hole and make a large hole on the other side using files and Dremels and stuff like that. So that is what we're going to go ahead and do now. But before I start is I want to mask off and towel off all this so I don't scratch the new paint. So we'll go ahead and get started doing that now. So we've gone all the way through now. If you can see this drill bit, you can see it on this side, and then we can also see the same one over on this side as well. So we are all the way through. So now we're just going to keep stepping up in drill bit size. I do have quite big drill bits, so we'll see how big we need to go. But what I think I'm going to do is get to roughly like an 8mm drill bit, and then I'm going to use my Dremel to go the rest of the way, because I can just shape it just big enough and move the hole slightly down. Because what I'm also worried about is this hole is like in the middle on this side, but obviously it's not this height the whole way. So I'm worried about potentially busting through this piece here, which will be game over for the spoiler. So we're just going to take it slow and keep drilling. Cool, so we've gone ahead and used the Dremel here to make the hole a bit bigger, just being careful that we don't bust through the sides or the bottom or anything like that. And as you can see, we've now got that the wire all the way through. The other option, if you didn't want to make as big a hole as we have, is you could cut the plug off and then run your wires through a thin hole and then reconnect your plug. I didn't want to mess around with the wiring and stuff like that. I'm not super confident on electrics, so I decided to just make a big hole. But we haven't damaged anything. It wasn't too hard, but for you guys watching, I'd definitely recommend doing this before you go ahead and paint it. If I'd known, I would have. So now what we're going to do, take the tape off, take the rags off. It hasn't scratched anything. We'll give it a quick clean up. Still got to clean up the top of the boot, and then we can go ahead and do our first test fit. So now what I want to do is fit this rear brake light before I go ahead and put it onto the car. And I did a little bit of a test fit and realized we've got a few fitment issues, just a few things that need trimming. So these two little stubs is what are supposed to have the screws go through into. And they just looks like they're just a bit too high and a bit too big because they're hitting on this part of the brake light right here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get the old Dremel, and we're going to try keep the right, because the angle's good, but just try get it a little bit smaller, take a bit off these front edges, and then just keep test fitting and seeing how it goes. But I'll probably end up having to remove these rags and stuff to actually test fit it and see, but we'll go ahead and get started. So a little bit of modification required to get that third brake light in. As you can see, I've had to remove the thickness of the paint back there and then just sand these down a little bit, but we've got the brake light sitting in there nice and flush at the front now. And then obviously there's no paint here anymore, but we're just going to put like a thin bead of that silicone down the back there just to seal the brake light in from the water. So now we're about ready to just do a test fit. So we'll bring this over now to the car. So what I want to do is do a test fit before I start bolting stuff down. We cleaned off the back of the car where the original spoiler was, as you guys saw. So I'm just going to put this up here, just like that. And we'll get ready to do a test fit now. Alright guys, so we've done a quick test fit of what this RS spoiler is looking like, and I have to say I'm super happy with the way it looks. When I said I was getting a Focus ST, I always planned to get the RS spoiler. So yeah, it looks super cool. Fitment's pretty good. So now what we've got to do is just pull it back off one more time, put on some double-sided tape, maybe a bit of silicone, put that brake light in, get the washer jet in, all that good stuff. But this should be on within the next hour at least. We started this at 7 in the morning, it's now 10 o'clock, so we're 3 hours in already on just the RS spoiler, and we still got the diffuser and the splitter to go. But yeah, I have to say, super happy with the way it looks. It looks super cool. Okay guys, so that is the RS spoiler install done now. But that took us 5 hours, so that was a lot longer than we expected because of those modifications. So we're moving straight on to doing the RS style diffuser now. So I've jacked the car up just a bit to get under there, and I've also dropped the exhaust on the hangers at the back just so I've got plenty of clearance. Now, when you have the RS diffuser, you'll see it's got these 3 studs. So we just need to drill 3 holes into here to get those studs in. So the plan is, I'm going to put some paint dots on the back of these, and then if you slide it over the tips and in like that, he says, yeah, something like that, and then put some press to put those paint dots on, and then we'll bring it off and we'll know where to drill our holes. That's the plan anyway, so fingers crossed. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've now got the diffuser mounted up to the car, and I have to say, this thing looks crazy now. It looks so cool with an RS diffuser and an RS spoiler. It looks super good. But the main problem we've got now is our exhaust tips are touching the Maxton diffuser, and we can't lower the exhaust tip any more than I have it now because it's touching the subframe. So what needs to happen for this to fit, because the way I've mounted it flush with this line, because this is where I wanted it to sit. It looks nice here. And again, that's what is causing the issue, because the Maxton is now lower than the cutout for the tip used to be. So what we need to do to fix this is to lengthen the hanger, but have it not touching the subframe. I haven't got the equipment here to do it today. That's more of an exhaust shop thing. And this car was going to the exhaust shop for a muffler delete coming up soon anyway. So the plan is now that the diffuser is fitted and we know it works, we're just going to pull this off and leave this off until it goes to the muffler shop. It is booked in for next week, so it's only got to drive around for a week with no diffuser. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and get started on that splitter at the front. Okay guys, so we've moved on to the front splitter now. So let's have a look at what we've done so far. So we've just done a test fit with just 3 self-tappers just to get it sitting on there, and sort of positioning it, make sure it's lining up properly, all that good stuff. Now that we've got it sitting roughly where we want it, we're going to drill some pilot holes, and then we're going to attach it using these. So these are riv nuts. We're going to be using M6 riv nuts. So these are like you use like a rivet gun to attach these into the bumper. So it's a threaded insert in the bumper. So that'll make the splitter super strong and also super easy to remove in the future in case I need to remove it, like if I scrape on my driveway or coming in and out of the garage, stuff like that. So that'll make it super simple. So now all we've got to do is drill some pilot holes. It's super hot now. It's like 26 degrees, so definitely starting to cook, but this is the last piece we've got to put on, and it's the easiest one. We left the easiest one till last, so should be good. We'll go ahead and do it now. So guys, look at how this is sitting. This splitter looks sick. To be honest, I wasn't really too fussed about having the splitter as well. I only really cared about the RS stuff at the rear, so the spoiler and the diffuser. But I thought if I go crazy on the rear and I have nothing on the front, it might look a little bit odd. So I went and bought the splitter with it as well. And man, this is probably my favorite piece, surprisingly. I think this looks sick. So yeah, the splitter went on no problems, as you guys saw. Used riv nuts and a few little self-tapping screws, but we didn't have any issues there. It fits really good, really good. I'm super happy with it, and surprisingly it's actually really low. So my Honda is actually lowered, and that's 16 centimeters off the ground, and this is 13 centimeters off the ground. I'm on stock ride height, so I think it's going to be scrape city for me. But yeah, so the plan was for the rest of today, if everything fitted properly, I was going to wash the car and then take it for a bit of a cinematic drive, and that would have been cool. But we've got to wait until our exhaust tips are fitted first. So I'll catch back in with you guys in a few weeks for me, but it'll be a few seconds for you.
2 weeks later.
Okay guys, so since you've seen those last clips of us installing the Maxton, it's been about 2 weeks. I finally got the exhaust sorted, so the tips are angled down now, so it no longer rubs on the Maxton diffuser. So all 3 pieces are fully installed. We've washed the car, so this is what it looks like. Ta-da! I'm absolutely stoked with the way this car looks now. It looks so much cooler than it did before. So over at the front, we've got the Maxton front splitter. So this really, I wasn't even too fussed about buying. I kind of just bought it so it would match everything at the rear. But honestly, I have to say, it looks so cool. I'm super happy with it. And it's made the car look so much lower at the front. So before, like, I'd never scraped the lip and stuff, but now even at stock ride height, it kind of touches just a little bit a few times. But I'm super happy with the way it looks at the front, super aggressive. Yeah, I think it just looks like a track car at the front now with that front splitter. Looks real cool. And if we come around to the rear, I'll show you. So we've got the RS spoiler, which is like the piece of resistance. Like, it just looks so sick. Yeah, I always wanted to get the RS spoiler on these STs to make it look like an RS. And then if we come down, continuing with that RS theme, that's what our rear RS diffuser now looks like. We've got the tips that have been angled down so they don't rub on the diffuser. A lot of aftermarket exhausts have adjustability in the tips, so you can just angle it down. You don't have to go get it re-welded and stuff, but I was getting a muffler delete done at the same time anyway, so, and the muffler delete you'll see in the next video, so we're not going to start it, so you guys will have to wait. This looks super cool at the back. Yeah, this rear 3/4 now, just, I just absolutely love it. It's made the car look so much better. The two things I'll say that since I put the Maxton on is, one, now the wheel arch gap looks too big. So like, I need to lower it. That's one of my next things, because this is just way too big of a gap. So we need to lower it now, because it looks so much more aggressive with the Maxton. So definitely need to be lowered. And it makes me really want to sort the paint out. Like, because I love the way the back looks so much with the Maxton and the shiny exhaust and everything. But then I see my boot that I repainted in a previous video, and you can just tell the color match. So, but yeah, I super happy with it. So for me and my friend to install the Maxton, it took us, how long do you think it took us? Yeah, it started at 7, finished at 4. So it was like a whole day to install the Maxton. A little bit of messing around with the spoiler. The diffuser was relatively stress-free. The splitter, straight on, no issues with that. But yeah, love the way the Maxton looks. Definitely recommend it in gloss black like I've got here. And if you guys want to buy a Maxton kit just like this, you can do so if you're in New Zealand through Harry's Euro. That's where I got mine sorted. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this one. It's cost me a lot of money to make, so if you guys can just smash the like button, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, it will show that it was all worth the money. And you guys will be seeing this car very soon in the next video, because you'll hear what it sounds like with that new exhaust. So I'll see you guys in the next one.